it going? Hello, my name is Bryce Tubbs. With me today is Frank Muhammad. He is an intimacy consultant, certified master sexpert, and clinical sexuality coach. And, he's a life intimacy consultant for TMI counseling and coaching. I am so excited to be able to have this conversation. And, thanks so much for coming on the show today, Frank.
Thank you. So it's my pleasure to be here.
Excellent. And before we go any further, for those watching, if you watch this from any location that is outside of our free community, I just want to personally invite you inside. It's taken a tremendous amount of time to cultivate such a positive group of people who want to see you succeed. So if that's what you're missing, come join us by clicking the link either above or below the video. Now, Frank, what was life like before you got into intimacy consulting and coaching? And really, what was the catalyst that brought you into the space?
The catalyst that brought me into this space, my wife and I, we've been married for 21 years. And my wife, Dr. Janelle Perkins Muhammad, she had this vision of really fulfilling the gap of mental health when it comes to the African American community, as well as helping couples experience the fullness of their relationships. And so under TMI Counseling and Coaching, we have a retreat center, couples retreat center in Blue Ridge, Georgia, where we do a lot of retreats for couples desiring to bring their relationships together. And so one of the things that I did as we're doing in our sessions, I realized that there was something else that I needed to bring to the table. So my wife is a licensed marriage and family therapist. And so me being able to bring that intimacy part to the conversation from a male perspective, and be able to help men and couples see that the true connection in their relationship comes from intimacy. I mean, if you're having a challenge with finances, it's linked to intimacy. If you're having a challenge with communication, it has to deal with intimacy. If you're having a problem with your children, it's connected to intimacy. And so that's what really brought me into this space as an intimacy consultant, because we feel as though intimacy is the key component to a healthy individual and family relationship.
Let me ask this question. So that's kind of cool how everything is kind of linked and related. I was going to ask a question, but I kind of lost. So let's kind of shift into this question. Maybe that's what it was. It was during these kind of times we're kind of cooped up inside, right? And tempers can start to flare. And then maybe what are some misconceptions about intimacy that most people have that are being amplified in this time period when they're together all the time?
Well, the thing that's a very good question. The thing that people miss, the biggest misconception when it comes to intimacy is that it's only sex. Mm-hmm. That is the biggest misconception. One of the first things I do when I meet with a lot of my clients is that first thing that we have to do, we have to be on the same foundation when it comes to intimacy. I need you to understand, here is our working definition when it comes to intimacy. And so that's what we end up doing. And then we talk more about those components.
Right. Wow, that's really cool. Just tell me, I know we haven't really covered this like before when we were talking about the questions, but maybe can you talk about like the definition of what intimacy actually means and some of the components?
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate you asking me that question, because one of the things I like to do is I don't like paraphrasing. I don't like putting it in my own words. I like to give it the definition so that individuals know that this is not my definition, but this is our definition that we want to work through. And I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to give this definition. And so intimacy is, and this is from the Journal of Black Sexuality and Relationships, their definition. When it comes to the level, intimacy is the level of commitment and positive, affective, cognitive, and physical closeness one experiences with a partner in a reciprocal, although not necessarily symmetrical relationship. And so that's our working definition. And so what I try to help couples and especially men to understand that in order to be intimate, you have to meet the requirement of reciprocating the presented aspect of that individual who you're in that relationship, and it has to be, like we said, positive. And so bringing that aspect of the relationship is really key, and valuing that moment of intimacy. So, for example, when you come in, when you're seeing your wife, and this is what I was telling you about: finances, communication, children, work. Everything is linked to intimacy. And so when I'm with when you're with when you're about to encounter with your spouse, with your partner, you have to first value that moment as a moment for intimacy. So therefore I have to first give respect to you, because this is going to be an intimate moment. So therefore I can't come to you just willy-nilly. I can't come to you upset. I can't come to you frustrated. I can't come to you disrespectful, because I'm getting ready to seize an intimate moment.
Mm-hmm. That's important. I think a lot of people don't kind of place that much intentionality behind, when they interact. That's a really, yeah, especially in these kind of times we're in right now. Maybe let me ask you this question. So right now, as we kind of think about the future and like just the vision, what does the vision for you look like and for your life as far down the road as you like to think or talk about?
My vision for my life, as I've been serving in the military almost 30 years, and so I'm getting ready to transition to a new chapter in my life, and really take on this, embody this person as the intimacy consultant with my wife, Dr. Janelle Perkins Muhammad, under TMI, under the Marriage Institute. And so our vision, as we look down the road, 35 years from now, 45 years from now, is that we continue to pursue our calling and establishing the Marriage Institute as the premier resource for healthy individual and family relationships worldwide. That's sort of our vision, and that's sort of my vision.
That's cool. That's really far down the road. I'm glad that you guys. That's a good point. First of all, thanks for your service. 30 years is a long time, so I'm really.
Yes, sir. Yes.
But maybe can you talk about some of because just talking to you and just kind of thinking about how you are kind of as a person, like the attitude that you kind of bring out. Can you talk about discipline to sit down and think about 35 years in the future, just going about your day to day to accomplish that?
Well, the thing is that, first of all, I know that again, it's all about mindset, and it's all about knowing what you've done to prepare yourself for whatever. And one of the reasons why I can say 30 years down the road, primarily because I'm healthy, and I've embraced the military's lifestyle of physical fitness, mental wellness, and things of that nature. So I want to give myself at least 30 years from now, because I've done 30 in the military. So I got to at least give myself 30 years. And so looking down at, I don't see myself ever without my wife. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I can confidently say that in the next 30 years, I'm going to be with my wife. Mm-hmm. I'm going to continue to experience the depths and breadths and uniqueness of my wife, which makes it a lasting and prosperous engagement. And so that's the exciting part about what I'm looking at, and how can you just say that you can be with your wife for the next 30 years? I say, first of all, because I'm not gonna blow it. I'm not blowing the deal. I'm just not blowing it, because I have the most fantastic woman in the entire world, who I love, who I know does everything I need to do, that I ask her to do. Mm-hmm. She is running in the 97, 98 percentile of whatever I ask her to do. So I ain't blowing it. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Let me ask you this question. So, where can people go to either learn more about you, or where can they go to like, follow up with what you're doing and maybe interact with you more?
Oh, so what they can do if they want to learn more about TMI counseling and coaching, they can go to tmicounselingandcoaching.com. On our website, you can find more about Dr. Perkins Muhammad. You can find more about myself. You can actually book an appointment to book an appointment with me to start sessions and things of nature. And so I'm, as the intimacy consultant, like you said, I'm also a master sex expert and clinical sexuality coach. And so when you're working with me with intimacy, you can actually go from the rudimentary parts of intimacy all the way down to the highest form of intimacy, which is sexual intimacy.
Hmm.
And so we can go into any parts of that aspect. So I can come all the way from the highest all the way to the lowest part of intimacy, and I can help you as an expert in any of those aspects.
Excellent. Let me ask you this question. So, if someone that's interesting. So, what problems are people generally going through when they come? Like for example, someone's been listening to you right now, and maybe they've been facing some issues, but they don't really know exactly what to look for. What are most people struggling with when they come to work with you?
Well, for most people are coming to me because of communication. We need to have better communication in our relationships. Some come to me because there are in that bracket of 1 in 4 couples who are in a sexless marriage, and they're trying to get back in a place where they can experience sexual intimacy together. Couples come to me because they want to learn more, because one of the individuals in the couple has some apprehensions about things that the spouse is looking for. We have couple women who are looking to help her husband to understand how to increase his abilities to satisfy her. And the reason why I say that increase his ability, because a lot of times, and when individuals work with me, they don't realize that I got to do one thing real quick. I have to do this thing where they don't realize that they're really not maximizing the ability to please their woman. And so that's what I try to help them to understand, because one of the things that we do know is that less than a third of women have an orgasm on a regular basis. And that's primarily because, let me say, on a regular basis. However, studies have shown that if a man can spend at least 21 minutes with foreplay, intimacy, that 93% of women have an orgasm on a regular basis.
Oh. Interesting.
Very interesting. However, because most men don't understand intimacy, they don't understand that intimacy is not something that you can kind of turn on and turn off, that they end up blowing it. And if you look at it from this perspective, if a man blows it twice a month,
yeah,
that's 24 times that year that he's blown it. And if he's been married 5 years, that's 120 times. If he's been married 10 years, that's 240 times. 15 years, that's 360. And if you get down to 20 years, you're looking at least 480 times, right? That the woman has not been satisfied.
Let me ask you this weird question then.
Go ahead.
You're saying 21 minutes, right? What if you go longer than that? What if you go like is there a max time to where it's like, okay, this is just stupid for both of us?
No, it's not. It's not stupid to both of us. The thing is that it's because it's not about the 21. It's not what I'm saying is that most men don't spend that 21, at least 21 minutes.
Okay.
Usually going right into it, kissing. Well, they haven't done. Matter of fact, first of all, you get me more excited about this thing, is that most of the time men don't understand that completing the task list increases the opportunity for a woman to be excited to even see you.
Yeah.
And so if she's not excited to see you because I've asked you to do these last 4 things and you're like, I'm gonna get them done, I'm not gonna be excited to really see you. And plus, you know, you're 240 in the hole, so I already know that it's not gonna last that long. And then 2, you're not listening to me to pay attention to my body. So yeah. So and you know, and it's just that kind of thing that men they end up missing out on one of the greatest experience someone can ever enjoy in life, and that's a female orgasm.
That's crazy. You know, and that's why people need to go and, you know, just learn more about him, see exactly what he has going on, and really just connect with him further, you know, because there are a lot of different reasons why you would go and work with them, but it really comes down to that communication aspect and really understand these small things. I mean, how many people, or if you're watching, did you know about the 21-minute goal? If you didn't, you probably should look into it.
No. 21 minute is not the goal.
But at least the starting point.
No. But what I'm saying is that it's just taking the time to be with your spouse or your partner and understanding that intimacy is not something that it's not a 5-minute thing.
Yeah.
And so if you're so like what I'm saying is that intimacy is not something that you turn on or turn off.
Oh, it's even bigger.
So it's not something that you turn on or turn off. It's always consistent. And so if I'm intimate with my I'm gonna give you an example. If I'm intimate with my wife, the moment I see her in the morning, I'm intimate with her. As a matter of fact, I'll say this here. I live in Okinawa, Japan. I'm really getting excited right now. And my wife is in Charleston, South Carolina. And so every day we are intimate. We're intimate every day because there is cognitive intimacy, emotional intimacy, and sexual intimacy. And then there's also spiritual intimacy. And I'm just giving you those different components. And so what I'm saying is that because we have various aspects of intimacy, we're intimate every day, although we're not always together. We're not physically close. So, but yeah.
That's a big distinction. Excellent. You know, so once again, where can people go to either learn more about you? What was the website again?
The website is tmicounselingcoaching.com.
Excellent. You know, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for coming on the show and just educating us.
Absolutely. No problem. And you can have me anytime if you want me to come back. We can talk more about intimacy. And again, if couples, like say, I just published an article on our blog talking about how the importance of men being emotional and how giving them the permission to be emotional. And here's why it's important to give them permission, because for all of their livelihood, for most men, most African-American men, they have not been given permission to be emotional. You know, if you always hear man up, you cry and see what happens, don't punk out. You haven't been given that permission to just tell me how you feel.
Huh. Interesting. I guess I take that for granted working with life coaches for 5 years, right?
Right. And because we take it for granted because, like I say, couples, individuals, men aren't given that. And so when a woman is looking for emotional intimacy, which is the on the spectrum of of intimacy. You can't go to sexual intimacy without emotional intimacy. And so when a woman is asking a man to be emotionally intimate with her, to tell her how he feels, to show how, express his concerns, because he's never accessed that file, he don't realize that file even exists.
Wow. Excellent. You know, and for those watching, we thoroughly hope that you found this valuable. You know, once again, if you're looking for a place where people are improving themselves and helping others do the same, I recommend you go check out our free community by clicking the link either above or below. You know, right now in these times where we might be kind of socially isolated, one thing people don't really, think about is you become the average of people you spend the most time with. So if you're trying to grow your business and you're around people that bring you down and don't really believe in your vision, it's going to be a lot harder to achieve it. So come join the community, get plugged into people who want to see you actually do well in your business, and click the link either above or below. Join us right now. Now, hopefully you enjoyed watching this as much as we enjoyed creating it. Feel free to hit the share button so other people can get some great value as well. Have a great day. We're done recording in 3 and 2 and 1, and see you guys soon.